Hello, Ben. This is Dimitris calling from
Hello.
Chicago and Metalkaoz. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm okay, but I
Good.
will be better once we start talking about Crimson Glory.
Okay.
So, when was the time that it clicked that, hey, we need to bring Crimson Glory back?
Oh, probably about 3 years ago. I think Dana and Jeff and I have really been wanting to do it for a while now, and we got to talking about it again and said, I think now's the time. Let's get this rolling again.
But what made this time the right time?
Um, I don't know. All the stars are just lining up for us, I guess. It's just the right time. It feels like it's the time. We're not getting any younger, so
Oh,
we
man,
want we
don't say
want we
that.
want
Don't
we
say that.
wanted to make another album, and actually we want to make another one after this one. So yeah, we're just feeling like now's the time.
You know what? Why I object when I hear it? Of course, we're getting old. Okay, that's a fact. But with music, it's there's something magical. When we listen to albums that were released back in the 80s, in some way feel closer to that time period, right? So to
Yeah,
my mind, when I see Crimson Glory, I feel younger instantly.
yeah.
So this is why I'm saying, don't say that, please.
Okay.
So, how important was for the songwriting process for this lineup to play live before getting in the studio?
Well, it definitely helped us. We got used to playing with Mark and with Travis out there in the live setting. So just traveling around together and being together, playing together at a bunch of shows. It was a good setup, for us to get back and then get in the studio and start getting to work on the record.
Absolutely, and it's unfortunate, let's say, that Travis had the most difficult uh, uh, side of things, right? Because metalheads we like to connect ourselves to specific singers, and
Yes.
unfortunately, Crimson Glory falls into that category. So, how difficult was
Yeah.
for Travis to step in those big shoes?
It was very difficult for sure because Crimson Glory fans they hold Midnight up so high. Midnight was just one of those singers everybody adored him, and for Travis to step in there and take over that job, it was a big undertaking for him or for anybody, any singer to try to do. But he stepped up to the plate and he's been doing a great job.
Isn't this at the same time a little bit unfair for Travis? I mean, we have seen that. We have done the same thing with to Blaze Bailey, for example, with Iron Maiden. Queensryche is another example. Why do we do these things?
Well, I don't know. Some fans just really get attached to the first singer that they grew up, listening to a band and they love it, and fans just have a hard time accepting a new person in that role. But like you mentioned, Queensryche, Todd's doing fantastic with
Yeah.
Queensryche. He's done a bunch of records with them, studio albums now, and he's been touring for years with them. And I've seen him with them lots of times. He's killing it, man. So I mean, and like Travis is out there with us. He's just killing it too, and he's did such a good job on the new record. I think the majority of the fans are really loving it that the band's back, and they really love Travis. There might be a couple fans out there that are like, oh, I can't bear to listen to it without Midnight, but all I can say is, hey, give it a try. The band's still got a lot of creative ideas left to share with everyone.
Is it the right question to ask? Sorry. Do you guys were you guys searching for that particular voice to match the older Crimson Glory stuff?
No, and yes. I mean, we wanted a singer who could sing like the old stuff and make it sound passionate in the way Midnight did, and maybe capture some of the nuances of his stylings and his
Mm.
voice. But we didn't want a singer who would be a clone of Midnight, of course. I think the fans would have probably really jumped on us if we came out and had a singer that just sounded exactly like Midnight. So it's a good idea to have a guy that also brings his own style and personality to the table as well, like Travis does.
Yeah. So at what point did you actually start writing the new stuff?
About 3 years ago, actually, before we even went out and started playing live dates with
Hmm.
Travis, we already had a couple of the songs already written and recorded. And that as we were doing the touring and playing around, we were doing more and more work on the record.
So it was before Keep It Rising.
Yeah, we already had two songs recorded at that point.
That's great because it helped the band, right, to get I don't know, reintroduced to yourselves, right? Because some of the musicians in the lineup have been in the Crimson Glory from the beginning, but then you had Travis and Mark as the new kids on the block.
Yeah, yeah.
Although you have worked with Mark in uh, Avenging Benzi, right?
Yes.
So okay, so Travis was the new, the real new kid on the block.
He's the newest kid on the block.
And how did it feel writing music for Crimson Glory?
Oh, it felt good again to get back together with Jeff and Dana and share
Mhm.
ideas with each other and see, what each guy likes from the other guy and start compiling ideas and building on songs. It was a fun experience.
Did it feel like it was some years ago? I don't want to say decades. I'm careful. Or
Not really, no. I mean, when Dana and Jeff and I get together, it just feels like yesterday, that we were doing it those decades ago. I mean, we've known each other so long. We get in the room, we start sharing ideas, and it's not like we're meeting each other for the first time. It's like we know each other like so well. We're like brothers.
I was trying, to bring some, I don't know, if you had previous beef, now you were, no, I'm not, I'm joking. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
um, so did all the music you guys wrote make it to the album, or do you have material? Because in the beginning you mentioned that your intentions to write another Crimson Glory album. So do
Yeah.
you?
We already have one song left over from this album, though it was going to be a 10-song album. And due to some time restraints, we just couldn't get around to finishing that 10th song. So we have one leftover completed song from
Mhm.
the sessions of this album. And we have lots and lots of ideas already stirring around for a next album. Yeah.
Are you keeping that 10th song for the next album, or will you release
Yes.
it as a? Oh, okay, okay. Why did you pick "Chasing the Hydra" as the title track? As yes, as the title of the album.
Um, I don't know. We thought it had an interesting sound to it, and in the connection with the dragon and the mythology, the seven-headed dragon. It just seemed like a pretty strong direction to go. And the song itself is a really kind of heavy song. A lot of the songs on the album have some mellow intros or mellow outros, and some various things going on in the middle with acoustic guitars. Chasing the Hydra was a very straightforward sort of metal song. It just slams from the beginning to the end. So we thought it was a good one to go with for the title.
And what about the lyrics? Who wrote them?
Travis. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we don't know what was happening in his mind when he was thinking about Hydra. Is this the actual beast, or is it something like
No,
everybody's?
something a little more personal to him.
There you go. Yeah, because sometimes, especially these days, it feels like we are fighting a Hydra, right? We cut one of its heads and then we have another one. And we have our own personal
Yeah.
Hydras, right? Inside of us, inside our minds.
Yeah. I think we
Mm.
all do. Yeah.
What about Tris? I'm trying to not use my Greek pronunciation with that, but it's difficult. So, how do you pronounce that song?
Triskaideka.
Okay, so what's the deal for
How do
that?
you how do you
Because
pronounce it?
it's yes, it's very close to you. It's triskedeka, although in Greek, D stands for a letter that is not available in the English language. It's triskedeka, if it helps.
Okay.
So it's interesting. When I read this title, I was thinking about the time. Because in Greece, when we say triskedeka, we mean the time. But that's
Yeah.
not the case. It's about
Yeah,
being.
it's just for us. It was just about the number 13 because
Mhm.
I saw, in the dictionary there's a term called triskaidekaphobia, which
Oh,
means
really?
fear of the number 13. Yeah, this is actually a word in the dictionary, triskaidekaphobia, and it just means fear of the number 13. And this has been something that's been around for ages, since many years ago, and cultures all around the world that people just fear the number 13. So
Hmm.
it seemed like something kind of dark and mysterious to touch on for a song topic.
Yeah, in the US we have Friday the 13th, the
Yeah,
13th. In
yeah.
Greece we have Tuesday the 13th.
Oh, is that considered an unlucky day or?
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah.
We are being extra careful that day.
I mean, people say Friday the 13th is unlucky, but one of my daughters was born on that day, so for me it's a lucky day.
Well, that's the exception that proves the rule, right?
Yeah, an exception to the rule for sure.
So it was your no, you saw the that word in the dictionary for whatever the reason, and you thought, hey, let's write some lyrics about that.
Yeah. And then I told Jeff and the guys, maybe cool, be a cool theme to write a song about how people fear the number 13. And Jeff said, well, maybe we should just, write it about superstitions in general, like other things as well, like how people fear black cats or
Mm.
think, breaking a mirror is unlucky and things like that. So the song lyrics sort of touch on various topics surrounding superstition.
But where, may I ask, where do you stand on that? Are you superstitious or not?
No, no, I'm not.
Yeah, you said that
I
already.
don't really, I don't really think that things like that can really cause you bad luck, you
Well,
know?
they can if you think
Yeah.
they can,
Yeah.
right? Because if I think, for example, tomorrow is Friday the 13th, let's say, and it's something bad is going to happen, it will because I kind of caused that.
Yeah, for sure. It could be bad if people believe in it. Yes.
Hmm.
I'm not superstitious myself. No.
Yeah, excellent. I'm not either. I'm trying not to be, at least.
Yeah.
What about Birds of Dust? There is some intro there. There is an intro of war sounds, but I could not.
Yeah.
I don't have the lyrics, so I don't know what's the content there.
It's something Jeff pulled up, that he found that he thought would be a cool opening intro for the song because the song touches on subjects of war,
Hmm.
so there's a little part in the beginning where you can hear, an intro there that was picked out for the song.
Okay. And how do you and Mark work on the riffs on the new album?
Well, we both contribute where we can. I contributed songs and riffs to a couple songs on the album. Mark contributed by writing solos all over the album.
Hmm.
I did most, if not all, the rhythm guitar playing on the record, and Mark did most of the solo work and stuff. And then I would do like clean guitars and acoustic guitars and things like that. When we go in the studio, we just kind of utilize who does which thing better, and we have that guy do the job.
Yeah, that makes sense. However, in the case of Crimson Glory, there is the aspect of how do you manage to connect the last album with this one? Because there has been so many years in between. So how did you manage? Did you guys manage to keep the Crimson Glory sound alive?
Well, we just really consciously looked back at the Transcendence album and said that we want to try to write and sound a little more like the style of this than
Mm.
any of the other albums because although the first one we're very proud of it, it's very cool, but it was also the band's first work. We've matured a lot since then. Um, the third album and even the fourth album were slight departures from what the first two albums were really all about. And we wanted to kind of get back to the stylistic overtones of Transcendence on this record. So when we wrote songs and came up with riffs to share with each other, that was kind of the underlying theme of the whole thing. Let's try to get this band to sound like we did, on that record. Although, with a more of a little modern twist, modern production, it's a little more progressive. But I think, and even a lot of the reviewers have said this record sounds more like a continuation from Transcendence than say the last album.
Yeah. Although I have to be honest with you, I like Astronomica. And in fact, I was
I
so
do too.
bummed. I was so bummed that I have missed the re-release by Night of the Vinyl Dead. So I
Yeah.
hope that when you guys have signed with BraveWords, that there is a plan to re-release some older material.
Not really talking about that just yet. We're just
Okay.
more focused on this record, maybe working on getting to work on our next studio record and perhaps put out some sort of live record, which we've never done.
That's interesting. The plan for the live record is for this cycle. I mean, like the next one, or you guys want to release another album and then the live album?
I'm not sure exactly how it's going to go, but I think it would be a good idea to put out a live album before we put out the next studio album. Put out a live album, and it gives us time to work on the next studio album and do
Mm,
things right.
okay.
Because over this summer even we're going to get a lot of great live audio from all the gigs and festivals we're playing. We could easily piece together and put together a really cool live album.
Speaking
And it's
of playing,
something we've never done. I mean, over the years, there's been a few live bootlegs that have popped up of Crimson Glory here and there, and they're all, poor quality and they're not regulated by the band. Like I say, they're
mm,
bootlegs. So it would be something I think cool for the first time in the band's history if we actually released a live album that we were, on top of the whole creation of it. We chose the songs, we chose from which gigs, when we worked on the mixing and the editing ourselves, and we were very much had a hand in it. So it's something done in conjunction with the band, not like a bootleg thing.
yeah. And this is only audio, right? We are not talking about DVDs, or although I don't know who is doing DVDs these days.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe just audio, but it's possible it could be a DVD.
Hmm.
But I don't even think it needs to be. I think it would be cool if it was just an audio album, just something to listen to. You know,
In your mind, are you thinking recording this in Europe or in the States or both?
both. Just maybe taking different songs from different gigs that we felt, were working,
Hmm.
or you never know, maybe even an entire gig. If we play somewhere and everything is really good that night, and the sound man and the band were all just completely on fire, then we might just put out a live album just from one certain particular gig. I think that would be special if it worked out like that.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah,
And I'm specifically asking for the US because you will be playing in Prog Power USA, right?
yeah.
Will that be the only date in the US?
No, I think a week later we're playing a festival up in Wisconsin, and then a one in Minneapolis.
Okay.
So those are both about a week after Prague Power.
I'm
They're both
trying
in September.
I'm trying to see whether you will land in Chicago too.
Well, no, we played Chicago. Were you up there when we played Reggie's last year?
No, I wasn't, unfortunately. And I
Yeah, we
missed
had a
Hell's
great.
Heroes too. So I'm double
Those
bummed.
those were both a lot of fun. Hell's Heroes was great, and then shortly after we did Hell's Heroes, we played Reggie's up there in
Yeah,
Chicago. Had a blast. It was a really great time. Cool place.
yeah.
We'll be up. I guess the closest to Chicago will be up there. Are those other two gigs I mentioned, the Minneapolis and Wisconsin things.
Okay. Okay. Well, I will
But
try to
but
make it.
we're always adding things. You never know what we might add as
Now
the
you
year
made it
goes
better.
on.
Now you made it better. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Okay,
maybe
man.
we'll come back and play Reggie's again.
Yes, that's a deal.
I'd
That's
love
a deal,
to.
man.
Yeah.
And if you
Hmm.
don't, I'm calling you back to complain. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, man. Thank you very much for your time. Love the new album. Have
You're
safe
welcome.
travels and play
Thank
great
you very
shows. And
much.
see you whenever we see you again here in Chicago or close by.
Okay, man. All right. Take care.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.